More than 3,000 years ago, God commanded the Jewish people to celebrate the Passover. Jesus himself celebrated this holiday every year. And today, millions of Jewish people around the world gather each spring for a Passover meal. Now, we Jews for Jesus want to invite you to experience this ancient feast through this presentation of Christ in the Passover. It's the next best thing to having you at our home for the holiday. This video features David Brickner, Executive Director of Jews for Jesus. To enhance your understanding and enjoyment of this program, we've also included scenes of some of our family during Passover, informational graphics, music, and artwork. And now, let's join the audience as David Brickner explains the Christian significance of the ancient Jewish festival of Passover.
It was all part of God's plan from the beginning to break down that middle wall of partition, dividing Jews and Gentiles, and to make us one together in the body of Christ. So we're one this morning in Him. Amen? Amen. Praise the Lord. But you know, because of that, you share with me in a rich heritage. The heritage of the people of Israel and all that God did to reveal Himself through the fathers and through the prophets and through the festivals of Israel. This now becomes your heritage in Messiah. And this morning we're going to look more closely at one aspect of that in the story of the Passover. The Passover is the account of God's redemption of the nation of Israel from bondage, from slavery in Egypt thousands of years ago. But this morning, as we look more closely at that ancient festival of redemption, you're going to see that God, in bringing Israel out of bondage, wove into the very fabric of that story a picture of a far greater redemption of all the world from the Egypt of sin through our Passover Lamb, who is Jesus the Messiah. So I want to invite you to turn with me in your Bibles, if you have them, to that first Passover story, which you'll find in the book of Exodus. Exodus chapter 12, and we'll be reading verses 5 through 8 and 11 through 15. Now, if you remember, at this time, Israel was in bondage. We were enslaved in Egypt, and God promised He was going to redeem us. So He raised up Moses to go to the Pharaoh of Egypt and say, "Pharaoh, let my people go." Well, Pharaoh wasn't exactly willing to listen to Moses, and so God had to convince Pharaoh to listen, and God can be very convincing about these things. And He convinced Pharaoh by sending a series of plagues upon the land of Egypt. You remember the story. There were 10 plagues in all. Now, the Bible tells us that the Jewish people at this time were living in a section of Egypt called Goshen, and they were exempt from the first 9 of those 10 plagues. For example, the Bible tells us when darkness fell across the land of Egypt as a plague from the Lord, there was nevertheless light in Goshen where the Israelites were dwelling. Or when God smote the cattle of the Egyptians with plague, the cattle of the Israelites were spared. And yet Israel was not automatically exempt from the 10th plague, the worst plague, the death of the firstborn. But in order that that plague should not fall upon them, God commanded the children of Israel to take a yearling lamb for each family, and that's where we pick up the story. Exodus 12 and verse 5. "Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year, and you shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats, and keep it up until the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening, and they shall take of the blood and strike it on the 2 side posts and on the upper doorposts of the houses wherein they shall eat it. And they shall eat the flesh in that night roast with fire, and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it." Verse 11. "And thus shall ye eat it, with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and you shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am the Lord. And the blood shall be to you for a sign upon the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you. And the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial. And you shall keep it a feast to the Lord throughout your generations by an ordinance forever. 7 days shall you eat unleavened bread. Even the first day you shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel. That, then, is the historical institution of the Passover. We know that the first Passover, then, was celebrated on the night of the 10th plague, way back in the land of Egypt. But as God commanded here in Exodus 12, Israel was to continue to celebrate the Passover as a lasting ordinance. And so, throughout our history, as we observe this great festival, there were various symbols and traditions that were added to the observance to remind us of that first Passover back in the land of Egypt. So that by the time Jesus and the disciples were celebrating the Passover, most of the items that you see on the table before you today were already incorporated into that Passover observance. And there's a tremendous amount of preparation that goes into the celebration of the Passover. You might remember in the Gospels that Jesus even sent Peter and John ahead of him into the city of Jerusalem, saying, "Go, prepare the Passover that we may eat." And this preparation involves many things, but specifically what God commanded the children of Israel to do back in the land of Egypt. We were to cleanse our houses of all leaven, anything with yeast in it, which of course means that today all your Wonder Bread, all your Hostess Twinkies have to go. But because Passover comes during the springtime, this has become a time for a general house cleaning. And in the Orthodox Jewish home, Mom begins weeks in advance of Passover cleaning. Everything from floor to ceiling is cleaned, and there's even a whole different set of dishes put out for the Passover. But we have a problem. And the problem is that although it is the mother who does the cleaning of the house, the rabbis tell us it is only the man who can certify that the house has been properly cleaned. You can see what kind of a problem we have. The rabbis knew that the men would never get the job done right by themselves, but they also wanted to ensure peace and harmony in the home at the Passover. So they got together and they thought about this problem, and they thought about it, and they came up with a solution, which in Hebrew we call bedikat chametz, or the searching out of the leaven. And here's how it works. The night before Passover, Mom, already having cleaned the house of all leaven, will take a little bit that's left over. Maybe crumbs from the toast that they had for breakfast that morning, something with yeast in it, and she'll take it and hide it somewhere in the house. Now, the father coming home from work that evening will take in his hand a feather, a wooden spoon, and a napkin. And he'll go on a GI inspection to search out the leaven, looking high and looking low for those crumbs. Now, if his wife has been good enough to him, she's hid it in the same place she hid it last year and the year before that. So that when he finally finds those crumbs, he takes the feather and with a steady hand, he scrapes them into the spoon, wraps them up in the napkin, and then in ancient times, and still in Israel, the father marches off to the local synagogue where there's a bonfire burning in the courtyard. He takes the package, tosses it into the bonfire, and so declares his house now properly cleaned. It's an ingenious way for the men to get out of the house cleaning, right? But you know something? The Apostle Paul makes a very specific analogy to this custom of bedikat chametz, the searching out of the leaven. In 1 Corinthians chapter 5, and beginning with verse 6, Paul says, "Your glorying is not good. Know ye not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump? Purge out therefore the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump, as ye are unleavened. For even Christ, our Passover, is sacrificed for us. Therefore let us keep the feast, not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth." And so we see from that passage that leaven is not just something with yeast in it. In the Bible, leaven is a symbol for sin. And Paul points out that just as leaven is a symbol for sin, so then this unleavened bread, the matzah which we eat at the Passover, this then is a symbol of purity and righteousness.